of the void.
Hello, gentle listener. Hello, gentle viewer. Welcome to The Void. We have a very special guest here today, Jesse Leach of Killswitch Engage. How are you going, Jesse?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm really well. So I'm excited to hear you're about to become a media mogul. Like you got some podcasts, you got radio shows. It's all happening. So
Yeah.
you've always said really interesting things to me. So I've always thought that you've had a lot to say. Is that a part of why you're doing this, or?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a part of it. Although, if you were to ask me before this whole thing went down last year, if I were going to do some kind of a podcast, I would say maybe in my later years when I had the time and the wherewithal for it. Older and sort of wiser, but now feels like the best time to do it. I mean, number one, I haven't really been doing much. Number two, I partnered up with this guy Matt Stocks, who's actually one of my podcasters. I actually listened to his show. I'm a fan of him.
Great.
So when he pitched the idea to me, it was like, yeah, I guess now is the time.
Awesome.
And it's perfect. And I've been enjoying the hell out of it. Just getting it set up and getting the wheels rolling. It feels natural. It feels great.
Yeah, it's a great thing to talk to people, to connect and to really connect, because we have been missing that connection. I mean, I'm really lucky to be here. We're one of the only places in the world where there's live music has come back. You're not allowed to stand up, but people, so I haven't been out a lot because I don't know, I feel like dancing feels like kind of a part of, like the connection, being close is kind of a thing, but it is back. It's been, I mean, how have you stayed sane?
I don't know if I have.
Yeah.
When this whole thing started, rather, I was kind of in denial about it, thinking that it would come and go very quickly. And the longer it dragged out, the worse it got. And, I kind of spiraled a little bit, got depressed and thought, like, what the hell am I going to do now? And trying to figure out how to pay bills once the money started running low. But I think survival mode kicked in. And, I have to be completely honest. One thing that really helped me stay afloat was this app Cameo, where I've been saying happy birthday and happy anniversary to fans, and they pay me, and it actually has helped a lot. So that it's funny as that sounds, that was the first thing that sort of like made me realize, oh, I can do stuff online. I can actually like connect with people and they give a shit. So I got back on Twitter, I got on Facebook, I did the whole social media thing. I'm like, here I am. What can I do next?
Yeah.
That's when I started the radio show, which, hasn't paid yet, but when you build your audience, you'll eventually start making money. But just for the sanity's sake of like connecting with people and playing music and being a part of something weekly, giving me something to look forward to.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's sort of like kicked me off. I was like, oh,
yeah,
I can do this.
It's kind of have you ever heard of a guitarist called Pliny? He's like a really amazing, oh my God, got to introduce you. This is one of the finest things that's happening in Australia right now. He's a prog guitarist, one of the best in the world. He's about early 20s. I got him on. I'm like, you have no internal darkness. We need Devin Townsend. And they love each other.
Oh,
and so
great.
We got them together for a couple of hours, and it's like, I really miss American rock and roll. Like I really miss you guys as a group. So it's nice. This has like been my way to reconnect with American rock and roll, because it has a place in all of our souls. Australian rock and roll, of course, but sometimes you can connect them all and they're friends, and that's really beautiful.
100%. Yeah. I've got a strong connection to Australia as well, friends and bands, and the King Parrot Boys are one of my favorite bands from that area. So I can see the connection. I love
There's Australia. There's a fellowhood. They're not words. A fellowhood is better than a brotherhood, though, because it doesn't exclude us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, you're a person who connects a lot. There's this moment in the last Serenade clip I shot of you where this girl leans out of the crowd and grabs a kiss. She's just cheeky, and I'm like, we can't even do that. The whole losing touch with contact with other people, I think, has been one of the hardest things of all of this stuff. And I've talked to you about this before, but I think it's really cool that you are open about struggles and stuff, because I mean, for me, and I don't know if I'm alone, but I sometimes feel afraid to talk from that place because I'm worried I'll come back out of it and go, oh my God, that was so revelatory. But you do it, man. Like, how is that? What has the response been like from that? And how has that kind of changed now that we're actually in this shared place?
Yeah, I think a lot more people are open to talking about, sort of
Mm.
being dealing with mental issues. There are people before this whole pandemic thing that were in denial, people that I know that have come out and been like, yeah, I'm not doing so good. I'm really not, I'm depressed. Personal friends of mine who've had to deal head on. You know what it is too? I think this is a big part of it, and I can attest to this as well. When you're back in the world that was sociable, you could go 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 go, you could be a barfly, you could go to shows, you could constantly be out there being sociable and sort of distracting yourself from yourself. It's easy to do that when the world was turned on, when it was switched on. So you had people who were spending their days out late nights partying, and like that was their routine. You take that away from somebody and they're forced to sit with themselves, and then they realize all of a sudden that, oh, I do have issues, oh, I do have a problem. And you can only drink yourself or drug yourself alone so much, to the point where people actually started to get bored of that shit. Like, getting drunk at home alone or getting fucked up at home alone is not the same. So I saw a lot of my friends scale back with that shit, and that's when sort of the problems start to rise up. So I think if nothing else, this has been a blessing in disguise for some people to realize that they do have issues, they do need help, and maybe they do need to cut back on all the bullshit they fill their lives with and face down themselves. That's
Yeah.
been a big thing for a lot of people, including myself. Slowing down. I haven't really had a night. I haven't been drinking much at all the past
Yeah.
2 months. Like, I've really
Good,
changed
man.
gears, become healthy, and like faced my
Yeah.
grumpy old age and all this shit that I never really saw myself as a grumpy old fucking man, but I kind of am. And now that now that I'm in touch with that part of myself, I'm okay with it. And I'm learning how to navigate the world through,
Hey, you
fairly.
had one hell of a youth.
I did,
You,
yeah, I
you know,
did.
like no one is disputing you had it one hell of a youth. Like that's how you live. That's how we embrace time as it passes and stuff. And I think, yeah, I mean, if it wakes the world up a bit, are you into like all that stuff, like the consciousness and the, being stuck in your pain and coming out of your pain? And is that like a thing you're into, or?
I think it's a thing that
Yeah,
exists, whether people are into it or not. It's definitely something that is there. And
yeah,
I've spent the better part of the past 2 years really going deep within myself and exploring, the sort of reawakening of my spirit, or I would even just say awakening. I don't even know if I truly was in touch with who I was, for various reasons. The lifestyle I lived and the relationship I was in at the time, which was a very toxic one. So coming out of all that, and then, I was almost sort of semi prepared for what happened mentally, because I had sat with myself and was starting to work with myself. So to answer your question, yes, I
that's
truly
awesome.
believe that everybody, not everybody, I guess some people don't give a shit, but the creative types, the people who want to like make a difference in the world, that really do care about other people and are compassionate and empathetic, those are the types of people who right now could truly be going through some sort of an awakening, if you're paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, and it's not like, I feel like I'm at the starting line, or like barely at the starting line. And I think it's dangerous to not think you're at the starting line, but it's not like an easy process to actually examine all of your toxic shit, because we've all got it. And we've all, and I don't know if you've read like Eckhart Tolle and stuff. Like, I've been reading a bunch about that, about the pain body, about
Mhm.
how a lot of us, if we're not present, we're basically carrying around our pain like a little knapsack, except it sometimes gets so big it completely chokes out everything else around us. And and I think that a lot of people spend their whole lives in that. And that's, it's and I think music is a big part, especially for men. Like, this is about it's a 98% men watch channel. Dudes like heavy music. I'd like more women to be here. If you are a woman, thanks for coming. But it is a fairly dude oriented channel. And I've worked in very male dominated professions, and you know, heavy music is it's a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
And I see there's it's hard for a lot of men to communicate, and it's not that, it's cultural in a lot of ways. And I was saying to Ben from Dillinger the other week, like, it's important, the flip of all of this stuff is to have compassion as well. Not all guys are awful. A lot of guys are just trying to get by and just trying to be a good guy. I know this is an unpopular fucking thread of thought, but there's actually a lot of really good guys out there who don't know how to manage their emotions and don't know how to communicate. I'm not excusing bad behavior, but there is an enormous contingent of men out there who are just trying to do their best, and they've been told they're not allowed to feel. Like, sorry, getting deep here, but
I totally agree with that. I think it's the way you're brought up, depending on who your parents were, your circle of friends, and then society. And then you tack on something that's supposed to be very masculine, very macho, metal music, hardcore music. You know, the guy is supposed to be this fucking tough badass. And, you know, the misconception is the fact that if you suppress your feelings and your emotions, then you're a badass. When the actual fucking truth of it is, if you're honest and you're brave enough to actually show who you really are, that's the actual badass part. I mean, whether or not you can throw a fist or fight or whatever the fuck people compare masculinity to, you know, the true bravery is being yourself and not giving a shit what people think about you. That's the true bravery. But, you know, like we've been told by society, by, you know, other males in our circle, whatever the case may be, you've got to be a certain way, and it's posturing, it's fake, it's bullshit, it's
100%
true. Don't get me wrong, I've met some dudes that I'm like, god damn, I would never fuck with that dude, he's a badass. But when you really get to know those types of people deep down inside, the real ones, they're a sensitive person, they are considerate of other people. You don't have to be, you know, a dick or an asshole to be a tough person. You don't. It's
beautiful to be tough. Like, I read this thing recently, like, where a great man, like, just endure. Sometimes he just endures, like, especially like in, you know, like romantic relationships. It's really cool to see you're in love and stuff. Like, I know you had like a bad, I'm sorry to like, you feel like, you know, you see people in their social media and like, I'm sorry, I'm kind of aware of what's going on in your life. We haven't spoken, but I'm like, that's really cool. That
I put it out there to a certain degree. You know, people don't know.
But it's awesome. It's beautiful though. It's like, it's wonderful. How has that experience changed you?
Oh, it's incredible. Well, I will say this first and foremost, to anyone out there who's got a partner that is honest and loyal, that number one is like a breath of fucking fresh air. And I think the great thing that my girlfriend's allowed me to do is learn how to fucking say what's on my mind, learn how to talk, and also learn that, because she's had a life. Like I went through my shit, but that girl has been through so much stuff. So she has a lot of wisdom, a lot of earned wisdom. She's lived in this crazy life where, you know, I think true wisdom is gained through experience by definition. You can have knowledge, you can read all the books you want, you can study in a school all you want about psychology, about, you know, toxic behavior, narcissism, all these things that we encounter.
But
if you haven't dealt with somebody, if you haven't lived in that skin, if you haven't been abused physically, mentally, sexually, whatever, you're not going to have the wisdom to pass on and to really make an impact in somebody. And she's definitely been that for me. Like, she was the first person to make me realize how fucked up, you know, my past was. So that's been an interesting process with her, and then me helping her out. So we are basically, when we met, we were both fucked up.
Aren't we all?
So as we sort of fell in love and realized, oh shit, this is real, we've helped each other grow. And where we are now, the two of us is so completely different from who we were 2 years ago. And that's because we have love and support.
Yeah.
And, you know, I put that on the internet because I'm proud of it and I'm happy, but I'm also careful not to share too much about stuff.
Yeah.
Whether that's my past relationship or my current one, I want people to know I'm doing okay. But, you know, I withhold information because I don't want to be a total fucking, you know.
Oh, dude, yeah. No, but you're a poet by trade. So, you know, it's all about that lean language.
I can't help it.
It's all about that. No, but it's all about that lean language. And it's like, I was saying to someone recently, I was talking to my dad, I'm like, everything's cool. My relationship, my job. He's like, oh, I don't know, it's not perfect. I'm like, no. There's no perfect. It's the perfect mix of joy and challenge. You know, you don't grow from like not being challenged. If you're not being challenged at some point, it's not like, you know, like that's humanity. He's like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's good or it's bad. It's like nothing is good or bad. Like that is the most ridiculous thing ever. You know, you've been Did you do a band with John Joseph? Was that
No,
one? Or
I
you
definitely,
did? You
I
should.
love, I should, yeah, I love John Joseph. I think he's great. He's a friend of mine now, and
Oh,
he's somebody
great.
somebody I've definitely admired for many years, from the Cro-Mags to Blood Clot, and just who he is as a writer, as a person, as somebody on the internet. He makes me laugh a lot. You know, he's actually inspired me living a predominantly plant-based diet along with my
Sick.
girlfriend. I've gotten very healthy because of her and him, and those two are friends as well. So it's kind of, we're just friends. I love the dude. I admire him, but yeah, I've never done a project with him, but I'm definitely open to doing that. At least have him do guest vocals. I've got a punk band, The Weapon, that he'd be
Yes.
perfect for it.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was thinking. I guess I imagined this. I'm like, yeah, you know, yeah, they're in a
it would
band.
work. It
That's
would totally
cool.
fucking work.
It
Yeah.
would actually work though.
But we
Like,
toured with them, and I was side stage every night watching the
yeah,
Cro-Mags, you know,
such a good band.
and
I'm reading his book at the moment. It's pretty killer. Like, it's
which
I like
one? A couple.
PMA Effect. I've read Meters for Pussies, and what's the other one? The John,
Evolution of a Cro-Mag.
yeah, Evolution of a Cro-Mag. So like,
That's my favorite. I love that one. I love to see where he came from and how he
uh,
turned out.
my favorite bit is when he's walking into school with like pimped out, like, you know, like fancy black people clothes. When he's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
7 years old, he's wearing like velvet pants and platforms, and I'm like, what I wouldn't give to see that in like John Joseph punk rock. Like, just
Yeah.
I also would like him to replace the news. Just
Yeah.
just get
Yeah.
rid of all of the news, and it's just John Joseph real talk, like no bullshit.
Hysterical. I love it. And his whole attitude of like just putting it all out there and like fuck you if you don't like it. I love that. And you
Yeah,
don't have to agree with every single thing he says, which I do agree with a lot of it. But I think the funny thing is seeing people disagree and get annoyed with him and seeing his response. It
it's
just
so
it's
I have
constant
conversations
entertainment.
with him where I'm like, I don't know, man, I kind of feel like this. And he's like, yeah, I see what you're saying. You might see it differently. And I'm like, that's valid. Let's have a respectful conversation. This is cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's important. And well, so metalcore. What do you think of that word?
I don't fucking hate that word.
I mean, metal and hardcore are great. I mean,
Yeah, but that's essentially what it was intended to be, and then it turned into a dirty word that means melodic choruses and predictable breakdowns. And it's been a blessing because I'm had made a career out of it, but it's also a curse because it's something I don't identify with it. Outside of me being in a band that does that type of music, I don't have interest for that style of music. I really don't. So
yeah,
I get it when people hate on it and
yeah,
think that it's just like false metal or whatever the fuck. But it's stupid, really.
yeah.
If you like us, you like us. If you don't, you don't. We're a fucking metal band. Take
It's
or
a
leave.
start, yeah, and I hate genres. The only genre name I like is shoegaze because I feel like
Yeah,
it's mad evocative. I'm like, it is for shoegazing. That is
it's
a
one of the
great
best
genre.
songs out there. Yeah, I have to tell you, I'm a huge shoegaze fan. I fucking love that shit.
Yes. What's your
Yeah.
favorite shoegaze shit?
Um, I that's a tough question, dude.
You've got a broad taste. I'm interested in seeing where you go with this radio show and stuff, like with
Oh yeah, no, I try to make
mad
it.
broad taste.
Yeah, as far as shoegaze goes, let me think. I mean, I don't even. I guess Cocteau Twins would be considered
You're a
shoegaze
goth.
goth.
You are such a goth. You're a closet goth.
I absolutely love Cocteau Twins,
Yeah.
and they're kind of the originators of that strange sort of ethereal, swirling guitar sound. Yeah, her voice too, obviously. But
Have you heard the Swans, the last Swans record? I think it was 2019. It's like the
I
most,
actually haven't.
dude. Okay.
Yeah.
I would listen to Michael Giro, like read the phone book. That guy from Swans is like, yeah. But like, go have an intense psychedelic adventure on the last Swans album, and it will change your life and it will terrify your friends. I'm recommending it.
Like adventure. That sounds great.
You should really do it. I'm not sure if that's the thing you would do, but I really think you should do it.
Yeah, I've cut way back on sort of substances and doing all of that, but I'm not.
Well, I don't do anything except
Yeah,
like,
I know you do.
I
I'm
go
not
on a
finished.
spiritual journey. No, I only go on spiritual journeys on occasion. That's where I've distilled it down.
Good. Yeah, I'm more reliant on the things I can tap into naturally.
Yeah.
the feeling you get from your blood flowing and sweating, whether that's hiking or biking or swimming. That's
Yes.
the kind of shit that's my number one high that I prefer over anything.
Are
Is
you
just
nature guys? Do you go out? Like we've been on like 5 camping trips in the last 4 months with our friends, just on the top of mountains and like sides of rivers and all that kind of stuff. Are you guys those kind of guys?
so we live in the Catskills National Park. You can walk out my door. There's protected land across the street. There's a stream down the street. So we live in the park. So yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it's been really cold here the past few weeks, so we haven't been out much. But usually we're either swimming, kayaking, hiking, or biking on a pretty regular basis when the weather is decent. Yeah, that's
It's
fully who we are.
it's an awesome thing, and I think it's a way to find solace and stuff. Some like pretty full-on stuff happened this week. Do you know a band called I Killed the Prom Queen?
I definitely know of the name. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. They're a big band here. And the bass player passed away and took his life and
Oh,
stuff. And
oh,
I yeah, dude, it's really sad. And I've seen like this big the normal outpouring of grief, and it's not just famous people who leave like an enormous like hole in their wake and stuff. How do you find, if you're in a dark place, how do you come back? How do you get back from a dark place? Is nature a thing, or
oh, nature is a huge,
yeah,
huge part of it for me. Everybody's different. I think. I think just for me, I've dealt with that topic, whether losing people to it, which is still to this day impacts me in one way or another. But having to stare down that subject on my own in my own heart and having that desire to potentially take myself out, I think it just over time you realize that your grief or whatever you're feeling is temporary. Number one. Number
100%?
And number two, which is easier said than done. Number two, it is that initial somehow finding that strength. And to me, I've relied on a higher power. You call it what you will, the spirit world. Like that's been a huge part of my journey because, and it's something I can't even really put into words. Just something that I feel and have experienced
I know
that
what
has
you
been that has been able to get one foot in front of the other and get me out of the door and like go into nature. And nature essentially has been my church and my therapy. And when I have days where I feel myself slightly slipping or I'm triggered out or something happens, I run to the refuge of nature, and nature has always embraced me and always has helped. But it's different for everybody because when I
especially.
was young,
Yeah. Yeah, no, carry on. No.
no, I'm saying it's
Mid-thought.
yeah, it's just yeah, it's hard to put into words sometimes. I'm in a much better place now and I can navigate it so much better. But when I
Yeah.
was young, it was hard. And I think saying that you're not okay and actually telling somebody and speaking and like getting that conversation going is probably one of the most important things you could do. Just tell somebody, hey, I'm not okay. And hopefully you have somebody around you that will be able to just let you talk. Sometimes just saying it and talking about it is huge. And,
And it,
and a lot of people try to fight through it and like, be tough or whatever. Like
and it
it's
can
just,
actually be a gift. Like it actually makes people feel good about themselves to make someone else feel better. Like there's this, I saw some show once where they're talking about how getting the opportunity to save someone's life is like the greatest honor in some cultures. And it's like you're actually giving someone else an opportunity to be of service. And that's like a beautiful thing. Like, it's a beautiful thing. And making stuff is a great way to connect. What are you doing? What are you making musically? I don't know why I did this, but it's extreme.
I like it. It's good.
Extreme.
I love how self-aware you are with it. Like, oh, what am I doing? No,
I'm like, I'm not self-aware enough to stop, but I'm like,
no, but
hey, this is
you
happening.
shouldn't stop. That's
No,
good.
don't stop believing. Oh, I once fell in love with someone a long distance for like 6 months. I think just because I'd just seen Foreigner at the Opera House and I'd come home, and I think I legit. That's a really weird side note,
That's
but
amazing. Oh, this is good.
yeah, but that's like awareness. I'm like, oh, I really think that guy was really good, man. That new
Yeah.
singer, he did
Oh,
a
yeah.
lap. You're a singer, okay? You know showmanship, right? He did a
Yeah.
lap of the room and he came back and just landed right on his cue. And then
That's great.
everyone was 300 years old in the audience. 300, 100%. He did this elaborate thing where he's like, do you remember when you were on the when you were listening to the radio and music was your life and you put on that alarm clock and you got up? That's the only way he was going to get 800-year-old people out of the seats. They did one song. One song. And then
well, I think everything you're saying, everything, including the question you just asked me, everything you're saying is about connection. So
yes,
connection to people and then reconnection to people. And I think this whole pandemic, this whole time has sort of disconnected a lot of us in many ways, including the sense of smell, which people chuckle at, but I truly believe smelling people is an animalistic thing that we've lost. Seeing people's facial muscles, the body language, being able to like be in contact with all that stuff has really sort of, hugs, totally. Touch.
Hugs. I mean, we're in Australia, so we barely have, it's not fair. We've had 1,000 cases or something, like 5,000 cases, maybe under 100 deaths. It's a very odd place here. I can never complain about COVID, and I feel terrible. The only people you can talk to about this are in New Zealand, where we're like, shit, dude, let's not tell anyone.
Yeah,
we feel really bad. Been wearing a mask just on public transport for a month. That's it. Yeah, it's not fair. I shouldn't. Sorry, entire world. I don't want to be that guy. Like, it's not fair. Like, we're cut off. They won't let us out. We're grounded. Like, they probably won't open the borders for another year. Like, we're 100% grounded. Like, at least you guys can freely. Like,
the government isn't looking for any of our best interest. I think that the government has taken this and ran with it and put it to their benefit. And that's, you can go down the rabbit hole if you want, but I think that if you're just paying attention, things don't add up.
No, the whole thing doesn't make sense. And it's like, I wish we could use it as some way to connect and start an uprising, like just something where we lived off the land and were nice to each other and didn't care about religion.
The beauty of living where I live out here in the mountains. We've thankfully been surrounded by good people, and it's we're still all respectful and we're obeying the rules and all that stuff. But there's definitely a conversation going on up here where people are just like, it doesn't add up. But I digress. There are people get very, very offended if you question the status quo that the government's putting out there, which they've never told us the truth and they've never cared about our best interests. So why start now?
No, and it's and I actually saw John Joseph post something the other day where he's like, we're all in a storm, but we're not in the same boat. Some of us are in like a cruise ship, some of us are in a canoe, some of us don't have a boat at all.
Yeah, and some of us have lost people that they love, and they've been told it's COVID or it was COVID. So it's really hard to speak on that because I don't have any people in my family or my circle of friends that have died or gotten really sick. So I can't really speak on that. My thing is, I realized my gift in getting back to what I was saying is to connect people, whether that's through art, music, or now with this podcast, Stoke the Fire. My entire life now has shifted from how I used to be in Killswitch and how I was always as a punk rocker and a hardcore kid, like fuck the system, like angry, rebellious. And I've turned it into sort of like my sage-like years of using compassion and love and empathy and allowing people to speak and vent their frustrations, and me receiving it with open arms and allowing that space to exist. And that's kind of why the podcast came along, because I realized that is a gift that I have. I have nothing to prove to anyone about my life and my existence. My lyrics speak for themselves. The way I carry myself speaks for who I am. So I've learned to do a lot less of this when it comes to my protesting and my anger and my frustration. There's enough of that. And I do wish people would take the power back and realize that there is something to be fought. But my gift has become something where I want to bring people together. If you believe this and you believe that, there is a common ground. We have to find it. And I would love for our podcast, Matt and I, to be a forum for that. We're not going to allow...
Oh, you're breaking up. One sec. Come on, technology.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, is it like
there you are.
Glitch in the Matrix?
A slight glitch in the Matrix.
Conspiracy!
Just a minor one. But yay big. It's good now. You're back.
Good now.
Back in the
And
game.
we're
Back in the
back.
game, son. Yeah, so you
Right.
Howard Stern, watch out, except like without the misogyny. Like
Not how. Yeah.
Howard
Yeah.
Stern has done some cool interviews, but at the same time, they make me feel violently ill. I'm really tortured by it because I'm like, especially in his latter years when he stopped being a complete monster pig. He's a legendary broadcaster, but the flip, like, don't watch old Dolly Parton interviews because she'll just be sad because she is the boss, man. She is. I'm not even about her music. She's a cultural figure. I don't know. I'm really not cool. I just realized.
Oh, I backed that. Dolly Parton's punk rock, man. I
Yeah,
totally backed
she
that.
is. Like,
Great songwriter too. Jesus. Um,
Jesus. I'm
no,
so
so like with what I was saying, the podcast is like for us, the thing that I have to get to on this point
go
is
on.
um it's not just about Matt and I or a guest, celebrity guest, a musician, an actor, because we have those people we have lined up that are going to be on our show.
Yeah.
The important part of it, though, is inviting the listener in. So
Yes.
if you're a listener of the podcast, you can reach out to us on social media or our Gmail, stokethefirepod@gmail.com. Submit a question, submit an idea, and we'll actually read through all of those. We are telling listeners that they're a part of our show. So not only can you suggest things, ask a question, but you could potentially even be on our show. The
Yeah.
idea of this whole thing was the conversations you have as you sit around a fire. So until the world turns back to a sociable environment, we can actually set up a big, huge fire and have people sit around it and have a discussion,
Yes.
which we will get to. In the meantime, we're going to use Zoom as our fire.
It does the job, man. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. It does the job. I started the year watching Pink Floyd's The Wall and dancing around a fire. It's not quite that. It's
Yeah. Well, you can gather people together. We can have as much as 25, 30 guests on at a time if we wanted to.
You could watch The Wall.
Yeah. So, for example, we have a good production team. So if we did want to do something funny like watch The Wall together and talk about it, we could. We could. We have a guy that sits with us as we record, and if I say, "Oh, what about this article?" Boom, the article can show up, and
you have a Jamie. You have a Bring That Up, Jamie. Wow.
It's the same company that Costa and Rob Flynn work for Gas Digital. So Gas Digital gives us the opportunity to have an actual show. So you'll hear it as a podcast, but if you subscribe to the network, you can see us in HD. You can see, clips or whatever. So the possibilities are fucking endless. So we're going to take full advantage of that and make this show very much like you can come on as a guest if you're a listener. That's not off the table. Which a lot of podcasts don't really do that.
No,
and we're really invoking the community and the connection and the common ground.
The community is everything. Like it's interesting you talk about that because that's something I want to do this year and start more roundtables because everyone already does it in the comments. Like everyone has these amazing I don't get any negative YouTube comments, which is a really odd situation. But I just love watching those guys just hang out with each other and talk about stuff. And you can actually bring that into the internet with the magic of Zoom. So I'm really excited to see your show. And Matt's a really good broadcaster and journalist and stuff. And
he's a good conversationalist too. He knows how to keep it.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Well, that's what podcasting is essentially, is a conversation. So one thing to be interviewed for a magazine, or if you're promoting a record, you've got a job to do. But when you're just having a conversation with another person, that's when the good stuff naturally comes out. And I love having that discussion.
The whole point is I always, and it's interesting you say that because I was like with me in interviews is like, the whole function of an interview, as exactly as you said, is to sell a tour or sell a record. That's why they've set up a conversation with you. But you have an opportunity in this moment to go, well, who is this person? Because all anyone really wants to know, I think, in an interview is who is this person who's behind the music I love, and how's it feeling like talking about? Because you haven't done. I think you have talked about your lyrics from time to time. I don't think you've been completely mysterious. You're not quite Maynard about it. You're not quite Maynard, but like, are you excited to be talking about atonement? You're talking about atonement and the stories behind the lyrics this weekend.
Yeah. I think it's exciting, but it's also a bit intimidating. I think for me, I just wanted to challenge myself.
Yeah.
Uh, and also I wanted to speak on that record because that record came out and we weren't able to like do anything with it. So it's kind of
Yeah.
collecting digital dust. Like when that album first came out, if you were to look on Spotify or any digital platform, people were listening to Signal Fire, people were listening to Unleashed songs on the record, so they would show up on the top five. And that record just slowly just trickled down, and all the usual stuff came back up to the top. And I'm like, well, why not just approach this and bring this album up? And the cool
Yeah.
thing about the radio show is if I can get 200 listeners, that's 200 streams per song. Like it builds the record back up. But
Yeah.
also, it also allows me a platform to talk about why I wrote those things. And that album's very important to me for many reasons.
Yes.
Uh, One of which it's, halfway through that record, I had to get vocal surgery. So there's a whole story behind that. It just, for me, I thought it would be a good way to engage the fans as well as sort of be heard on
Yeah.
like the importance of that album to me.
That getting vocal surgery, I mean, that's writing the line pretty tight between like love and fear. If this is like the thing you love to do, and like, what was that like? But yeah, like, what was, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you talk about this year being sort of a time for people to potentially lose their career or switch their career, or you get on survival mode, and people who were once in touring traveling bands are now delivering food for people, which I one of my favorite vocalists in metal now works for a food delivery service because his touring band stopped, and they were a band that wasn't big enough to have royalties, to have things still coming in. Like with Killswitch, we were like concerned and we lost a shitload of money, but we knew we were okay for a little while because we have royalties, we have money saved up because our band is fairly successful.
Yeah.
There are bands that were not, like the tour's canceled, they're broke. They don't even know how they're going to pay their bills. So having the vocal surgery is like that, where you're faced with the what if. You're forced to sort of look at your life and go, if I weren't a singer, what would I do? And that was the moment I saw the look on my doctor's face when he was doing the examination. I saw him, he looked like he had seen a ghost. Because I've been seeing this guy since I started, I would say 22, I started seeing this particular doctor. So he's been there through all of my shit. And I've had plenty of problems with my voice due to lack of technique. But to see him with that look on his face and go, the usual thing we do, vocal rest, prednisone, and like getting good sleep and not talking and drinking your water, that didn't work. This damage was a lot more permanent. And he said, look, this is out of my hands, is what he said to me. You have to see a surgeon because this is potential surgery we're talking about. So from that point on, it was a month of silence. So before I had answers and was getting ready for the surgery, and this doctor looking at my throat and saying, I can't guarantee you that you're going to have a career after this surgery. I can't tell you that your voice is going to be the same. So I had a month from that point on of no talking and canceled tours. What do I do for a month? I was literally one of the hardest months. And I became very monk-like, very monastic, and sort of didn't have a social life because I was carrying around a notepad. I did a DJ gig because I didn't want to cancel it. It was for this suicide awareness and prevention, which I don't turn those things down. So I had to go out in public and DJ and be around a bunch of fans and friends. And I couldn't talk, and the music's loud. So I'm there with a notepad. I can't do that shit. You can't write as fast as you think. So there was a couple of instances of that, but then it just realizing like, well, what else would I do with my life? So I had to do a lot of soul searching and kind of come to peace with the fact that I may come out of this surgery and I'm done. That might be it for me. So that was humbling, very humbling experience.
But you did.
I did, yeah. I did, and my voice, I believe, and I speak differently too. If you go back and watch interviews
You
with
do
me,
actually. Yeah.
I had to learn to talk properly
Yeah.
first. So before I even sang or did any sort of screaming, Melissa Cross was there from day one of my recovery. Yeah, she was by my side, not only just as a teacher, but a friend and someone that would encourage me and text me. So she was there. And she helped me rebuild my voice and learn how to speak again, and gave me methods and techniques that are my Bible now. Even with the podcast, doing interviews, I do vocal warm-ups. I am very aware of how I speak. I pace myself. If I find myself getting excited and breathing I slow down and make sure my diaphragm's open. So that I'm now programmed, because I don't want that shit to happen again.
No.
So now,
Was it just
super
damage?
cool.
Was it just working, like pushing yourself too hard?
Yeah, so the initial polyp they found on my vocal fold wasn't the main problem. That was a problem, but the main one was behind. So they didn't even see the other one until they went in to do the surgery.
Jesus.
So the surgery was for one polyp, and then when they got in there, they saw another one behind the vocal fold that had so much scar tissue on it. He said it looked like an old person's frowning face. Like my vocal fold was so damaged.
Oh my
And
God.
said, most cases when I see that, that's when you're done. I will tell you you're done, especially with the extreme music you've been doing. There's no way. But thankfully, through a lifestyle change, being quiet, and then learning actual technique, which I never really had a handle on, I went out in that first show back, opening for Iron Maiden in Tallinn, Estonia,
Yep.
in front of 11,000 people. And my voice was doing things like vibrato, stuff that I've never done before. And I have control of it. I mean, it wasn't my best show ever, but for being the first show back, it was definitely better than the past 2 years of me singing. And I felt the freedom. And I got teary-eyed. I got super emotional when we got off stage, because it was like, first show back, opening for Iron Maiden in front of 11,000 people, and I did good after surgery.
That's
And that
huge.
was 4 weeks. So surgery to first show was 4-week recovery.
Jesus Christ. That's
Nuts.
oh. Well, I'm glad you came. I'm glad it worked out. I'm probably not as glad as you, but you wrote a great, like, speaking of coming back, you wrote a great story about Randy from Lamb of God, like kind of hitting you on the back, coming back when you first came back to Killswitch. Can you tell us a bit more about that moment as well? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very sort of nerve-wracking. It's different to come back to your band that you left initially, but then to like sort of come back and then have to stand in the shoes of somebody who's an excellent vocalist, one of the best in the game, let's be honest. And to stand in front of people who've been used to this thing for 9 years, and you come back sort of assuming the role. So I was very insecure, and I did a lot of posturing to like, I got this, fake it till you make it type thing. So if you watch some of the interviews of that when I first came back, you can tell, if you know me well enough, I'm nervous and I'm sort of putting out like, yeah, I got this.
Pumped. I'm like,
Yeah.
What's it been like reconnecting with Howard?
Yeah, that's been great too. And,
Great.
it's funny because we never really had a solid friendship. He was always sort of an acquaintance.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous. Like, I remember he showed up for one of the shows, and I was like, I didn't even want to see him before the show. I felt so nervous, I didn't even want to see him. So the guys were like, "Oh, Howard's around." It's like, I came and face him until after the set. I don't even want to see him. Don't allow him to stand side stage. I will fucking choke. But that was then. This is now, and now I love the guy. I love working with him. Was awesome. It felt like such redemption, and I knew
Yeah.
the fans would enjoy it, and to hear his story as well, and his journey, and him coming back from the darkness. And
Well, yeah, I spoke to him in about with one of his other bands, and I was like, oh man, he had a dark time, eh?
yeah, he did.
He went through some dark ass shit, like,
More so than people will know,
yeah.
and that story may never be told in its entirety, and mine may not either. There are certain details you leave out because the public doesn't have to know everything.
No.
So, I had my own journey, but yeah, to speak on that Randy topic, which was so cool, was like my third or fourth show back. Lamb of God at the time were one of the bigger bands in the world. They still are, as far as metal goes. And to see him standing side stage, kind of just like approvingly nodding his head, like, "Oh yeah," and then I came off stage, and he was looking right at me, and I was like, "Hey, dude!" Like, I knew who he was. I didn't know him. And he's like, "Yeah, you did a great job," and like kind of like put his hand over me and like patted my shoulder and was like, "Bro, it was great. Good to see you back." And that was huge for me. That I literally was like, I felt validated. It was like
Yeah.
somebody that I admire as a vocalist and somebody who's out there doing it and killing it, made me feel like a peer. Because then I showered and I got ready and I went to the catering tent and there he was having his dinner and he invited me over and we just started chatting and I was wearing an Operation Ivy t-shirt and he sang one of the lyrics at me and I sang it back and then we just sat and talked about punk rock and skateboarding and shit that we grew up with, ska music even, because I fucking love ska music. Not a lot of metal dudes are,
I was gonna say, keep that on the low, man. Yeah.
not a lot of it. I don't.
My first boyfriend played trumpet in a ska band. It's not good. Like, it's not. I shouldn't admit this, but yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, but he's
music makes you happy. Fuck the bullshit, man.
yeah, he's I just feel like Randy, it's like Randy and like people like Nate from Converge and all these, like, actually both from Virginia, funnily enough. But like they're just hardcore kids, like they're hardcore skater kids, and it's like the heavy metal of putting people on a pedestal, or like the old model of rock and roll, and the difference between, it's almost like the difference between like the Led Zeppelin and the Black Flag. Like, metal has its own story where it's got the people on the big pedestal, not to diminish those bands. You got to, the bands we're talking about, the bands that are put on these pedestal, the biggest touring bands in the world, like people like Metallica, they're on that pedestal. But then there's the other side of it, which is it's about getting up close and personal, and the people with the best values. And I know everyone in this music doesn't listen to just this music. I know I don't, but I would bet my life this is the best people in music. Like, don't you think? Like, what's your experience of this? Yeah.
Yeah, because you're talking about a culture. It's metal music has been big for a while. The bands were on a bigger scale for a long time, where hardcore is more of a community-based thing. So the band on stage would be your friends, and the people in the audience are in bands. There's really was no like fan to band things. Like, we're all in this together. It's very much a lifestyle and a culture that doesn't leave you. It doesn't change. Like, people that I grew up with that were in the hardcore scene are still the same way for the most part, where we don't like the rock star bullshit. When I first started having to do autographs and stuff, when I came back to Killswitch and doing meet and greets and all these things that are natural to me now, I was very uncomfortable with that. And I laughed. I'm like, why the fuck do you want my signature? Like, fuck. You could be up here doing this shit I'm doing. Like, in hardcore, there's a lot of humility because that shit is not tolerated. Rockstar shit is not tolerated. And that's why I get on. You mentioned Nate from Converge, all the Converge dudes. I grew up alongside that entire crew in the Northeast scene, and like, they're still the same way. And when I see them when we're out on tour, if I see them in the catering room or whatever, when we have conversations, I love to connect to people like that, because that's my tribe. Those people know we can joke about our lives, and we're like, how funny is this shit? Like, we're playing in front of 10,000 people today, and there's a meet and greet tent. We got to go do it. Like, it's funny to like compare notes, because we remember what it's like playing in front of 30 people that were all our friends, and then we get off stage and they get on stage and play in their hardcore punk band. So that rockstar shit, I still don't like it, but it's my career now, and I'm super grateful for people who
Yeah.
are, man. And I meet people and they get teary-eyed and they're shaking and they're so nervous to meet me, and I'll put my arm around them for a picture and I can feel them trembling, and they look up at me and they got tears in their eyes, and it's like, at first it used to freak me the fuck out. And now I'm like so grateful, and I try my best to just, hey, thank you so much. Like, I'm not, I'm a regular person with a cool job. Like, you can just say what you want to me. It's fine. And if I have time, I take time with people.
Yeah.
And unless I have something to do, if somebody needs to talk to me and I'm outside the bus, I make the time, because those are the people paying my bills. Those are the people supporting me. That whole rock star mythos of I'm too important, or I've got, I hate that shit. Unless I do actually have another interview to do.
If I do have rockstar shit to do, I got to do it.
Yeah, so I'm just honest with people. Or if they make me uncomfortable, guess what? I'm like, I can't, because people tell me heavy shit because of my lyrics,
Yeah.
because of the way that I am. I hear a lot of I almost killed myself stories, or people saying to me, you saved my life, and I cannot hold that energy. I can't do it. It's like, and I'm so grateful, but I'll take the time to unravel that situation and be like, hey, I'm grateful for people that help me out too. So it's just paying it forward. It's reciprocation. It's something that we do as artists. And not everybody is like that, because I've witnessed people that I know and have been around and been on tour with people that I know that don't have time for that shit, that do actually embrace that rock star thing of like no pictures, that whole thing. And I never want to be that way, and I don't like, and I don't appreciate that kind of, because of where I come from. I'm a
Yeah.
punk.
Yeah,
I'm a punk
100%. There's
sings in a metal band.
and the yeah, like the center of that room isn't on the stage. The center of that room isn't on the stage.
Now the room is
Center
just
of the energy is not
it.
on the stage. Like that's the bottom line. And I mean, I'm glad like someone like you has done well, because I mean the bottom line is you made songs that connected in a big way. Doesn't mean everyone who's made a song that deserves to be huge is huge. There's plenty of people making mad songs that should be huge, but you made songs, capital S songs, and that is an undeniable thing about the band you've been in. There are some capital S songs, and not everyone can do that.
Yeah, and I'm part of a legacy that has a lot of capital S songs, and
Yeah,
those songs continue to move this band and push it forward. And
yeah. Are you being
I'm
creative?
humble enough to like be able to sing stuff even if I didn't write it, and to be part of this legacy. So that's a constant reminder too of how fortunate I am, because it's not all just me. It's a collective group of people, and that's truly what it is to be in a band. And with Killswitch, it extends beyond just the members of the band. It does extend to former members. It does extend to our crew and our management. These are all people that really, truly are part of the reason why Killswitch is successful. Our crew is some of the hardest working people you'll fucking meet.
Your sound guy, is it Lucas? Is he everywhere, or is he just sometimes?
Lucas doesn't work with us anymore. He
Oh.
moved on to greener pastures. We love him.
Dude, he did the best mix I've ever heard in my life. He did a stereo mix at the end where I got it back. I'm like, well, we're gonna have to get the multi-track. And I was like, that is the best sounding mix I've ever heard in my life. Like, what a dude. Just saying.
Now we have Alex, who worked with Periphery. We stole him from Periphery, and he's a great sound guy as well. All of our crew, they make us who we are, because they represent us too. So when fans meet them, or staff at the club meet them, and they're setting up equipment or they're getting stuff ready, we have always gotten that your crew is professional. They get the job done. They don't bitch about stuff, and they're nice people. And that's kind of Killswitch family legacy right there.
And that is the most heartbreaking part about the pandemic, is the crew. And we should all talk about that more, because everyone who the live music ecosystem, those guys don't have other avenues. A lot of those guys don't have other avenues.
A lot of guys would go home and do sound at a club and do shit that was entertaining in the world. And you go home and that job is not available to you. So we got sent out from tour with no pay, but we did pay them. And like, you can't work. So, one of our guys has a kid. He's got a mortgage. Like, these people were left high and dry, worse than we were. Because like I said, we at least had royalties, and our accountant was like, okay, we've got some money in the business to help for a couple of weeks. And then thankfully, and I don't have a ton of good things to say about this country during this time, but thankfully the band applied for a business loan. They call it a PPP loan here.
Yeah.
We were able to take out a chunk of money at a good rate and then pay our crew for 8 weeks salary to help get.
Awesome.
Yeah. And we're actually doing it again. We just got approved again. So thankfully, but that's the whole thing.
Good thing. Yeah. Well, they did that for our industry, for a lot of end creatives, including, and I was a part of this for the last 12 months. So it's about to end. And there's a lot of talk in the music industry of like, our industry isn't back. You can't really just cut everyone off. Like, So anyway, that's the whole thing. How's Adam? Yeah. Are you guys writing again? I bet you are.
Oh, no. I'll tell you we're not, because there's a couple of factors. One, I can't really speak of because health had something to do with one of the band members. We had a little hairy situation there, but we're doing better now. We are not writing, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one is we've all just been through the ringer this year, mentally and physically, for some. So that has been the last thing on our mind. So we've recently regrouped via Zoom and talked and hung out, and have started to talk about the potential of a concert online, like all these bands have done
Oh,
already.
cool.
We may eventually do that, and we've come up with creative ideas on how to make it different and interesting songs to play and like concepts. So that conversation started. It's something that'll be in the future.
Of
But
course.
another reason why there's not a ton of incentive to write new music right now, number one, we're not together. Number two, Times of Grace is getting ready to roll out
Yeah.
our record. So in order for that to breathe and have its time, and then Killswitch will have its time after, they've very, very graciously understood that when Times of Grace comes out, we're going to allow Times of Grace to breathe. And we're going to, Adam and I are focusing on putting visuals together, and we've got the first single and visual done. So we're very much going to cater this record to an online experience. So allowing Times of Grace to have their time in the press and the media. So that's another reason why Killswitch is not working on anything right
Yeah.
now.
That's great though, because that's been done for a while, hasn't it?
It has,
Yeah.
yeah. It's been done for at least a couple years now.
A couple of, oh my, I didn't realize it was that long. That's
Yeah,
wild.
Adam did a bunch of reamping and remixing because he's
Yeah.
quite the perfectionist. And then we had a lot of discussion about which songs would make the record, which songs would stay off the record. And that actually, up until the last moment when we finally signed contracts yesterday,
Oh, wow.
we were still sort of shifting things around because we wanted this record to really represent who we are as a band now. So I'm happy to say that the song we put on really helps with the vibe of the record because it's a pretty sad record and it talks about a lot of dark, deep shit. And sonically, it's slower and more epic and more artistic than the first record for sure, which I think will set us apart even more from the Killswitch sound, which I'm so excited and stoked for, to have something else in our arsenal that is definitely not metalcore.
Times of Grace is a great band though. Like it's a great band. It's a great other avenue. It's great that you have that other avenue.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling to have something I can spread my wings a little bit and do something different.
You said it says who you guys are. Who are you?
Yeah, so I think that we're spreading our wings into more of being sort of bold with the fact that we're not just a metal band, we're a rock band, we're a blues band, we're a goth sounding band as well.
I want to hear you be a goth band. I'm into it. I'm here for this.
Well, for goth, if you want to talk about goth, I've got two, and this may take a long time to figure out, but I've got this piano behind me and I've been learning piano. My girlfriend bought it for me and I've been playing it and started to write sort of a goth record on my own solo.
Do a solo album. That'd be sick.
That will eventually happen, but I can guarantee you it's probably gonna take at least another year or so before I'm comfortable. But the goth side of me is definitely coming out on that.
This is the only thing that's good about the pandemic is the amount of music. Like Matt Pike's doing a solo album, which is going to be ape shit. It's like he's like everything from like Mahavishnu Orchestra to like, you know, banging on things. Like I'm excited. That is honestly the only good part about this is that people have kind of had a chance to be creative. And have you ever dressed up as a goth and gone to a goth club? Real talk.
I never really had to dress like one, no, because
you were allowed.
I was definitely more of a hardcore punk dude, and like it was accepted to listen to The Cure, like my circle of friends. That was kind of like okay, you can listen to that kind of music. But a lot of the early goth shit I liked was death metal goth. Like a lot of the early Paradise Lost, My Dying Bride, Edge of Sanity, Anathema. Those were the bands that really sort of like took my attention. And then as I grew older and I was like, what is this whole goth thing about? That's when I started to go into, and I actually wanted to mention, because I would feel remiss if I didn't mention, Slow Dive was a band that I super loved, and then they came back and put out a record a couple years ago, and I think it's a brilliant piece of work.
It's really good. We were listening, it came up on our Spotify the other day. We were listening to The Cure.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I've never dressed the part, but I 100% have mascara on in my heart. Yeah, I
kind of feel like that's a good end to the show. Like I just feel like
on in my heart. You know, for Times of Grace, the stage look for me will definitely be more goth looking. I've got a whole outfit. We're gonna really push the look and make it more of a performance. So you're not going to be going there with like spilling beer and going, dude. We want it to be more like theatrical and more of a rock experience, including having a piano slash keyboard on stage, because there's actually a lot of organ and keyboard incorporated, and something that I hopefully will be playing live with the band as the piano player. So
Oh, for real?
yeah, we'll see if that works out. That's another reason why I have this, and I've been learning the piano.
So that's a whole new frontier for you.
Yeah, we want it to be more of a rock metal band as opposed to just a metal band. So there'll be a look to it that will have like visuals and make it more of that kind of a band as opposed to just get out there and fucking rock out. You know,
Well, you've done that.
Yeah, we kind of did that with Times of Grace, but we're gonna do even more for this next venture.
That's really exciting. What will Adam be wearing velvet? He should.
That would be great.
I've never seen him in a cape. I've seen him in Daisy Dukes, but I think he should be wearing a cape.
I'm just blessed and fucking, fucking happy guy. I'm happy that he even like does the button-up shirt and jeans for Times of Grace, because that took a lot of coaxing. I'm like, dude, the music just doesn't work with Daisy Dukes and fucking.
Kind of bumps it out a bit. It was great when you guys came out on Soundwave. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we were like a baby band then. I feel like I was at my worst. I feel like we performed pretty personally.
It was so good.
Thank you. I'm my own worst critic, but man, when I was singing for Times of Grace, because I went from like being a bartender to being in Times of Grace. It wasn't like I was in a band on tour and like knew what I was doing. I was just thrown into the touring world. So my voice was not good, but thank you.
Are you excited about bringing this new voice back out on the road? What? Okay. Yeah. Let's not get too. I hope that's a long tail excitement, because we don't have a time frame on it, and yeah.
When we get to it, I'm sure it'll be enjoyable, but there's a lot of work before that to sort of rehearse, because I've been creative, but I haven't used my voice professionally for months. I've been so focused on other things.
Yeah.
So I am going to start warming it up and start rehearsing, because the potential of Killswitch doing stuff in the summer. But that also goes hand in hand with the fact that at some point, Times of Grace, we really do want to play some shows, at least a small run of shows, because we not only do we have a great record, but on that record is a drummer that toured with us. So Dan, who was our touring drummer, is the actual drummer on the record. So he plays drums and he brings a whole different feel to the drums, and he sounds incredible. So we've got 3 solid members now.
Sick. Do you have a release date? Yeah, you do. You really? You sign a contract.
We signed yesterday, and then I've been told don't talk about it.
Yeah, fair play. But it's happening. It's really happening. Yeah.
Yes, I've been told spring, but that's a general.
That's killer. Oh, what a wonderful world, eh? I mean,
just kidding.
I mean, parts of it. I'm kind of just focus on that.
I think it's all your perception. I think if people are to focus on what's really important,
that's what you got to do.
The personal relationships, like, the world is beautiful. It's just all the bullshit and nonsense of the mainstream media and all the fear mongering that you got to avoid.
No, you just got to be love. I was talking to my dad about this. I'm like, the benevolent force, just love and fear. There's just love and fear. And he's like, I don't know about the benevolent. I don't know about it being benevolent. I think it's just neutral. And I'm like, I'm telling myself it's benevolent, and I think I'm going to have a better time of life. And I'd like to invite you out there. Why not think the world is a benevolent force? It doesn't have to be like, you know what I mean?
You are what you manifest.
Yeah.
We believe that. That's why I believe in the power of intention, the power of prayer, regardless of religion or politics or whatever. If you're saying things aloud and you're envisioning things and you're thinking things and you're dreaming things,
yes,
that's a positive way to be, and that's the way to do it. If you think you're benevolent, guess what? You're fucking benevolent.
And that's the beauty of life. What is our what is your final thought of the day? What is our thoughts? What are the thoughts of the day? The final ones.
I would say definitely take time to sit in gratitude and be grateful for what you do have. Focus on the positive things in your life. Deal with the negative. Don't run from them. Face down your inner demons and the darkness and sickness, whatever you have going on in your life. Make sure to always save space for gratitude and And because of that energy, you'll see your life will be rewarded. You will see change if you focus on the positive things and make space for that. And essentially love, embrace love in all of its forms. It's the most powerful weapon we have as human beings, period.
That's a beautiful way to end it. What song do you put on to feel like that?
Wow. This is not going to be a popular one for many people, but Brian Eno has a record called Music for Airports.
Yes.
Track one of that record, no matter what mood or what headspace I'm in, when I put that on, I feel my entire being relax, and I just feel like everything's going to be okay.
Let's give that a try, people. I think it's a beautiful sentiment, and I really appreciate you coming on the show, Jesse. It's great to see you, and great to see that you're in a good headspace.
I am, yeah. Nice to connect with you from across via technology here. It can be a positive thing if you allow it to be.
Indeed. Thanks for watching The Void, everyone. Good day. May your day be most triumphant.
This is an experience of the void.